everybody, what's going on today? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be doing like a part one of two video, breaking down what pitchers are best to use post patch. Here, the most recent patch in MLB The Show. Since it's a little bit different now with the gameplay, I'm going to break down what pitchers are best to use on what difficulties right now. And then tomorrow I'm going to do a video showing you guys how to pitch effectively with these pitchers. So you guys do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe. And let's get to the breakdown of it real quick. So the way I see it right now is All-Star difficulty and Hall of Fame are much more different than they have been all year. Since the most recent patch, since home runs are a little bit more often hit now in the game, the difficulties and the types of pitchers that you want to use as a breakdown for these difficulties are completely different than they used to be. So here's what I like to do, okay? For All-Star difficulty, when I'm playing games on that, which if you guys aren't aware is below division series. So wild card and below are going to be on All-Star difficulty, okay? And the pitch speeds are much slower on that. So what I like to do is I like to use pitchers that are more of a junk ball pitcher or an off-speed kind of pitcher, more control friendly. Much more different than the high velocity pitchers that you might want to use on Hall of Fame difficulty. And you don't have to use these particular five that I'm showing you as starting pitchers here. But to be most effective, these are the five that I roll with when I'm going into games on All-Star difficulty from now on. So we're gonna break down each card and show you each one individually. But here's the five starters that I'm using when I'm on All-Star difficulty right now. And like I said, you don't have to use these five, but I would try to find pitchers that are similar to the way I'm describing these to you guys. Okay, this Matthew Boyd card, which is one of the finest, it's the only finest starting pitcher that we have available as of today. As of it came out in set 1. Set 2 is available right now, but it's the only starting pitcher that we have right now. He's a great pitcher to use. Good control. He's got a lot of good off-speed pitches. Madison Bumgarner is a second one. Same thing, great control, a lot of off-speed pitches. Guidry that you can get for free in the team collection, the signature teams deal there is in the moments is a great one to use. Now he does get up his velocity a little bit higher than some of the others, but he's got great control on his pitches, and his slider is like his primary pitch on there. So and then Adam Wainwright with the sinker as a primary pitch is almost an identical card to the Orel Hershiser card. Those two cards are very similar. So those are the five that I roll, but let's break down each card individually, okay? All right, so the first one being this Matthew Boyd card. It's a really good 5-pitch mix. He's got the 4-seam fastball, the slider, the circle change, and the curve with the 2-seamer as well, which functions much like a sinker pitch for him. It is his number 5 pitch, so probably don't want to throw it a whole lot. But sticking with off-speed pitches when you're on All-Star difficulty seems to kind of be the way to go. Fastballs seem to be like meatball pitches, man, coming in on All-Star difficulty, because the difference in the way you actually see the pitch comes in appears to be about 10 miles per hour. So if a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour, it's really coming in what looks like, if it was on Hall of Fame difficulty, it's what looks like to be about 90 miles an hour, okay? And that's a guesstimate of exactly what it is, but it just, they seem so much easier to hit. So going with pitchers that have great control like this and throw good off-speed pitches is a big positive for you in going forward on All-Star difficulty and when you get started in the month. So the slider, the circle change, and the curveball, if you notice the differential in pitch speeds from those to the fastball, that's going to be your friend right there, okay? Throwing the slider, the circle change, and the curve effectively and hitting your spots with it is going to be the best way to effectively get outs and avoid giving up as many home runs in ranked seasons and online play right now. So the Matthew Boyd card, it's not a very expensive card on the market. I suggest everybody picks this card up. It's a really good card to use, especially on All-Star difficulty, like I said. And yeah, I've had great success with this one so far. So let's go ahead and break down the second one here. All right, so Madison Bumgarner here, the 98 overall Signature Series Madison Bumgarner. A lot of you guys were probably using him early on. There's been a lot of good pitchers that have come out since this card came out, so maybe you're not using him as much anymore, or maybe you replace him, at certain points. But on All-Star difficulty, this Bumgarner card is really effective. He does have the fastball as his primary pitch, but he also has that cutter, curveball, the changeup, and the slider. So a great 5-pitch mix with awesome control. So you can put the ball pretty much wherever you want. And out of a lefty right now, with people using a lot of King Griffey Jr., a lot of Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth is going to be one that's going to be getting used here in the next month or so by a lot more people. I really think this is a great card to be able to use on All-Star difficulty in particular. He does throw kind of hard, man. He can get up to 95, 96 miles an hour, so he does have a little bit of a velocity. But sticking with his off-speed pitches, even though they're not the primary pitch, are going to be very effective with this card on All-Star. All right, so it's a great card, but that cutter is one that you want to be a little bit worrisome on. Just don't leave it hanging over the plate too much when you throw inside. But the curveball is great with the pitch speed differential on it from the fastball to the curve. The changeup is an excellent pitch for him, and his slider is excellent. Now, his slider's not going to have the amount of control that all the other pitches have because it is his number 5 pitch, but he does throw it quite well. And it's very effective against lefties, throwing it low and away to get them out. So, and in tomorrow's video, I'll break down exactly where to throw certain pitches in the zone now to avoid giving up as many home runs. But let's go ahead and take a look at the third starting pitcher here example that I'm giving you guys. All right, so this third one here is the Ron Guidry card, and 2 of these cards that I'm going to show you in this are free cards. You just have to complete some moments to get them. And then you can unlock these cards pretty simply. So Ron Guidry is one of them. He does have the primary pitch as the slider, which is pretty insane. His fastball will get up to 97 and a little bit higher than that. So he does have the velocity as well. There's a 2-seamer there as well, which is going to function, again, like I said, as a sinker. And then the curveball and changeup. And look at those pitch speed differentials, that fastball to the curve and the change. If you can effectively keep a guy guessing as to what pitch you're going to throw next, it'll be very effective for you. The slider being the primary pitch, just don't hang the slider. I mean, really, that's going to be the big key with him, is just don't hang that slider over too much of the plate and allow them to get a squared up contact ball on it. And he should be effective for you as far as not giving up as many home runs. But a great 5-pitch mix out of the Guidry card here. But if you guys notice, the main key in this and on All-Star difficulty is going to be looking at the pitch speed differentials and finding these ones where you can keep guys guessing on the speed that's coming next. So let's go ahead and look here at the 4th one that I've got for you. All right, this 4th one here is Adam Wainwright. It's another free card, again, through partner moments that you can get this one unlocked here. But it's a really great, effective card on All-Star difficulty. I know his hits and Ks per 9 maybe aren't as high as some of the other cards, but don't let that scare you off. On All-Star difficulty, he's awesome. The sinker, the curveball, the cutter, the 4-seamer, and the changeup, all great pitches. I would stick more with the sinker than the fastball with him, since it does have a little bit more movement than the fastball. And keeping it low in the zone is going to be key with this card. But look at that speed differential from that sinker to the curveball. It's going to be a lot similar to the, or very similar to the Orel Hershiser card that I'm about to show you here in just a moment. And his changeup as well is really good with the amount of speed differential to it. So effectively knowing when to throw the curveball and the changeup for this card is going to be the key for you. And then mixing in those sinkers a little bit here and there is also going to be effective. But this is a good option. 2 of these, like I said, are free cards, the Guidry and this card. So just go complete some moments and get these. It should help you to get out of that All-Star difficulty. It's kind of a funk getting out of All-Star each month because All-Star is just, oh, it is what it is. All right, we're stuck with it this year. We have to use it. Hopefully next year we all get to play on Hall of Fame difficulty. I'm going to go over cards for Hall of Fame in just a moment, and cards that I find are most effective for that. But yeah, as of right now, we have to deal with what we have to deal with in All-Star difficulty. So we might as well have a good idea of what the best cards are to use. And since pitching is such a commodity right now for the game, going with these pitchers that have great off-speed stuff is really effective. His cutter, same thing I said about the Madison Bumgarner card. You just don't want to leave it. You want to make sure that it breaks good enough inside that it's going to get you a broken bat, or it's going to really come in on the hands on guys and jam them up. If you leave it too much over the plate, it's going to get rocked. So you got to be a little bit careful with cutters. But the sinker, the curveball, and that changeup are great three pitches to kind of stick with this card in particular. So let's take a look at this last starting pitcher for All-Star difficulty right now. All right, so the last one I've got here is Orel Hershiser. This card is available by completing the Live Series collection for the Dodgers. So it is a very effective card. The Dodgers collection is not that expensive right now, but on All-Star difficulty in particular, this card is going to get you so much movement on those off-speed pitches. It's not even funny. So again, I would stick with the sinker over the fastball for sure. The fastball is a rare pitch that I throw with this card, and he's very effective for me. He does have the cutter, same as the Wainwright card. The curveball and changeup have that very similar pitch speed differential to the Wainwright card as well. Wainwright's going to throw just a little bit harder, but mostly the curveball and changeup for him have so much break, and that curve is very similar to the Kershaw curve that looks so slow coming in. It just kind of floats in there to the strike zone. So I think getting this card is going to be an effective card in your lineup, or excuse me, in your rotation if you're not using it already. So make it a point kind of to try to complete that Dodgers collection to get this one. I think it'll help you get out of this all-star funk quite a bit. So, but I stick with the changeup low on this one. I stick with the sinker low, and throwing curveballs on maybe the one strike pitch to get a second strike, and sometimes for the strikeout is very effective here as well. Now let's go ahead and break down cards to use when you get to Hall of Fame difficulty, which is Division Series all the way up to World Series, okay? All right, so here's my options for Hall of Fame difficulty. And like I said, again, you don't have to use these exact 5 pitchers, but you want to look for ones that have a good pitch speed differential, again, like on All-Star, but guys that get it up there to a nice high velocity as well, okay? So I know this Chris Sale card is out of a lot of people's price range. By all means, I'm not saying you have to pick up this card. There are other cards that are great options that are very similar to this, but look for cards that have similar aspects to what I'm about to show you, okay? So let's go ahead and break down these cards in particular. It's Chris Sale, Tom Seaver, Bob Gibson, Nolan Ryan, and Clayton Kershaw. A lot of you probably have the Nolan and the Kershaw card, but those two cards are very effective. The Nolan, if you can control him, is very effective on All-Star, or excuse me, on Hall of Fame difficulty. And then I'm going to give you a 5th option as well at the end of this one, and that I think will be very effective on Hall of Fame difficulty. So you know, if you can't afford that Chris Sale card, you might want to pick this one up. Just be aware it's going to be one you're going to have to learn to control as well. But let's go ahead and break them down right quick. All right, so the Chris Sale card first is the one we're going to break down. And these cards here, the crazy thing about them is I've used these on All-Star difficulty, and they just don't seem as effective anymore. So that's why I'm saying specifically keep them on Hall of Fame difficulty when you're up to that point, and higher on Division Series and up to World Series. Of course, once you get to World Series, it goes to Legend difficulty, and then that's a whole nother ball game. You probably want to stick with these same type of pitchers because the pitch speed velocity goes way up at that point again and makes another big jump. But Chris Sale is very effective. The fastball gets up to 99 to 100. It shows it at 97 there, but it does get up to 99 to 100, which is awesome. The slider, the circle change, that pitch speed differential on those is insane. The amount of break that he has is insane. And the two-seamer works effectively like a sinker. I don't throw the two-seamer a lot with this card, though. I mainly stick with that fastball, slider, and circle change combo with him. If you guys are fortunate enough to have this card in your rotation, like I said, Hall of Fame difficulty, stick with him on that. You'll be more effective with him. His pitch speeds just don't seem to be as effective on All-Star in general. So, but if you don't have this card, I completely understand. I know he's expensive on the market, so that's why I'm going to give you 5 other options for good cards to use. And keep in mind, like I said, you don't have to use these 5. Just find ones that are very similar like this, that have that good pitch speed differential and a really high velo fastball for Hall of Fame difficulty. All right, so Tom Seaver is the next one. Now, I know a lot of you have struggled with the Tom Seaver card because a lot of people have told me that they have, but I really think that might be because you're using him on All-Star difficulty. On Hall of Fame, he is much more effective at getting guys out and not giving up home runs and not leaving pitches over the plate. So he does have that four-seam fastball, the sinker, the slider, the 12-6 curve, and the changeup. He's very much so reminds me of the Clayton Kershaw card, but right-handed. So if you use him on Hall of Fame difficulty, I find that he is very, very easily obtainable and usable to be effective with on Hall of Fame. But the fastball does get up to about 97, 98 miles an hour there. The occasional 99 he'll touch. The sinker is also very good. His slider's nasty, but the only thing about the slider is you got to make sure you don't hang it. So you want to aim it a little bit lower and further away, maybe in the zone than you typically would, so it doesn't hang over the plate too much. His curveball will have guys swinging and looking foolish at the plate, and the changeup as well will do the same thing as the curve. So, but like I said, a good mixture of these pitches, the high-speed fastball with the curveball and the changeup. Mixing them in enough and not developing the same kind of patterns throughout a game so that your opponent is still guessing all the time is the best way to pitch effectively with this particular type of card. But yeah, you guys that have struggled with Seaver, make sure that you're not using it on All-Star, because those pitch speeds and the way he hangs pitches on All-Star is very different than it is on Hall of Fame difficulty. So let's go ahead and take a look here at the third starting pitcher option. All right, so 99 overall, Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson, I noticed I was starting to get hit around with quite a bit on All-Star difficulty last month and post-patch. And this is why I stopped using him on All-Star, and then I started using him effectively when I got to Hall of Fame difficulty last month before making the run to World Series, and he seemed to be lights out for me. So it's just kind of crazy how this has changed the game. But if you guys aren't aware, I mean, this is why I'm making this video, is to make you aware and to kind of share my insight with you of what I figured out. But great 5-pitch mix again, fastball, slider, the four-seam fastball, the slider, the sinker, the curve, and the change. His curveball is especially effective. It has a lot of break on it. He doesn't have the gigantic pitch speed differential like some of these other cards that I'm showing you, but his are enough that they're very effective pitches still. And it's still a large speed differential, don't get me wrong. It's just not as much as some of the others like the Seaver or the Kershaw and that curveball or something like that. But finding the perfect mix of his fastball, working it inside, trying to jam hitters, the sinker as well, the slider and the curveball and changeup are very effective ways to make sure that you can get outs. The curveball, a lot of guys complain that the pitches in the dirt are not getting caught by the catchers, and just don't throw as many pitches in the dirt. You don't have to throw a pitch in the dirt, to make a guy chase. Leave it up just a little bit, but don't not enough that it's over the plate. Really, still you can still get it below the strike zone and be effective with it. So, then you don't have to worry about that drop third strike with a lot of catchers and stuff in the game this year, because I know that's a big problem for a lot of people. But his slider is very effective against right-handed hitters, tailing away in that low and away zone, which is very important. And I really think this is a great option to use on Hall of Fame, or a card that's very similar to this one. So let's go ahead and take a look at this next one. Now, unless you're new to the game, almost everybody has these next two cards, at least on their squad, so or in their card inventory. Nolan Ryan, here's the first one. Nolan, if you can control him, is insane. All right, he can be very effective. What I do with him to be effective, and I have thrown a perfect game in ranked seasons this year with him on Hall of Fame difficulty. The best way to be effective with him is don't throw the fastball as often as you think you should. All right, sticking with the circle change and the curveball a lot more often than the fastball is the best way to be effective. And I really don't throw as many fastballs as most people would probably typically throw in a game. I stick with off-speed pitches no matter what difficulty I'm on, because people sit on the fastball and they just wait for that to come over the plate, and that's the pitch they're looking for to drive out of the park and square up. So, but his fastball can be effective if you just are careful and know when to use it and don't leave it over the plate as much. Now, I know controlling him and him throwing it where you actually aim it are two completely different things. So, you got to be a little careful with that. But obviously his fastball is insane. It's Nolan Ryan. We know that. But the 12-6 curve and the circle change with that speed differential, you will have guys swinging in the dirt, looking foolish all game long if you can get it down on how to pitch with him. I have a less than 2 ERA with him through over 250 games online pitched. He is absolutely insane for me. If it's a card that you have trouble controlling, it's okay. There are plenty of other cards out there on the market that are very similar to this card that will have this speed differential and these type of pitches to go with, and most of them may have actually 5 pitches instead of the 4. I always wish that he had a slider. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the slider on here. He's never had a slider in any of the years I've played the game. And Nolan did throw a slider from time to time, not very often, but didn't throw it enough apparently for it to make it on the card. So that's okay. But the 12-6 curve and the circle change, primarily the circle change, is what I like to stick with. I like to throw it low and inside to lefties and low and outside to righties, and I find that it's very effective. And then you can bust them with that fastball up high and tight, or come in middle in with it to try to jam hitters as well. And then working the sinker in there from time to time is also very effective with this card too. So you just kind of have to watch the pitch feedback. And I don't want to give that away too much because that's going to be part of the video tomorrow. But watching that pitch feedback and how late and early your hitters are is a very big way to judge what pitch to throw next to your opponent. So let's look at this. Let's look at this last one that I have in my rotation. Then I'm going to show you like a bonus card to use on Hall of Fame difficulty as well. All right, so the last one that's in my rotation is 99 overall Clayton Kershaw. I assume that the majority of you have this Clayton Kershaw probably unlocked already and have it in your inventory. I have found recently that Kershaw is not as effective on All-Star difficulty, and it's kind of weird because he used to be very effective on it. But now with the pitch speeds, it's so different, guys, since the most recent patch. So using this one on Hall of Fame difficulty, though, is still very effective. I still find he's one of the best pitchers in the game as long as you use him on Hall of Fame specifically. But the fastball, slider, curve, changeup, and sinker combo is nuts. It's just absolutely nuts with him. All right, the slider, sticking with that slider low and away to lefties is really good. You can jam them with the inside sinker. Fastballs are very effective as well on lefties. On righties, I like to stick with the backdoor slider, which comes in and breaks inside, low and in on them. You aim it just a little bit off the plate, and it's very effective. The changeup is very effective, low and away to right-handed hitters. And then the curveball, man, his curveball is insane. If you find that you're not mixing in the curveball very often with him, when you do, it should be very effective because people will stop looking for it, and then all of a sudden they're thinking it's going to be something a little bit faster, and it's going to come in so slow, man, that they're gonna look crazy swinging at it. So just finding the right times to throw these curveballs, and like I said, not developing patterns for your opponent to notice are very key factors. But let's look at this bonus card that I want to show you guys, and it's a card that you get. You guys probably know which one it is by now. A little hard to control, but let's take a look at it right quick here. All right, so this last one here is Kerry Wood. You guys get him in a Signature Series choice pack from Getting to Pennant Race in ranked seasons, and he's very inexpensive on the market as well right now. This card, I have used it on All-Star difficulty. It is okay on All-Star. I find that about after the 5th or 6th inning, that's when people start to be able to hit it pretty well. And it might just be because it's a new card and people are starting to get used to it. But on Hall of Fame difficulty, it's going to be insanely effective, man, with that 100, 118 on the hits and Ks per 9. But look at these pitch speed differentials, okay? He throws that 101, 102 occasionally mile-per-hour fastball. He's got the slurve for a starter. Having the slurve is insane. It's one of the best, most effective pitches in the game, period. That curveball comes in very much slower than the fastball and the heat does. The cutter with him, you got to be a little bit careful with because it is that number 4 pitch, and like I've said before, just don't leave it too much over the inside of the plate, or you'll get it hit pretty well. But if you can jam hitters with it effectively, it'll be a very good pitch for you. And then the changeup as well. So it's a great card, great option to use. With the amount of speed differential he has on Hall of Fame difficulty, it's going to be an insanely effective card. The only issue is going to be the control with it. But if you can get it down, if you can figure out how to use it, do it effectively, then it'll be a very useful, a game-changing kind of card for you. Him and Nolan Ryan both are very similar on the control. I think Kerry Wood actually has 1 number higher on the walks per 9 and 1 number higher on the control number. So it's just, they're really almost identical, okay? Take this card offline and do some conquest or something and try to effectively pitch with it there. Try to get a feel for it and where to aim the pitches. That's what I find is the most effective way to learn new pitchers that you're using. So, if you pick this one up, That's definitely the way to go. So hopefully this breakdown of these cards and the differences in All-Star and Hall of Fame have helped you guys, and keep me posted. Let me know in the comments. Get your comments in. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, but get your comments in so you gain entries into the Adrian Beltre autograph giveaway that I'm doing on the channel right now. This giveaway will be happening when the channel reaches 1,000 subs. Second place is going to be the Al Kaline autograph card. The Adrian Beltre in particular is valued at over $300. You know, if you guys like money, you know, just pop it on there and sell it, man. Join the stream this weekend. Join me and Joe Boo from Major League here this weekend on Saturday and Sunday at 12 noon Central Standard Time. Subscriber games are always on Sundays. Saturday we'll probably doing some ranked seasons, but join us both. And we're going to be giving away a $25 PlayStation gift card on the stream on Sunday this weekend. So make sure you come in there for subscriber games. I always play games against subscribers on Sundays. But you guys do me a favor, as always, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, subscribe. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Let me know some other options that you guys are looking at. If you've got questions about other options that you think might be similar to these cards, I'm more than happy to answer them. I answer every comment back that comes into the channel. So anything I can do to help you guys out is always a pleasure. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.